Yeah, that's definitely a cool old saw. Big old beast. And there's actually two of these on the list. This is the restored one. It angers people. It's controversial. Hey guys, Dan with Kane Custom Garage. And I got 20 of my favorite chainsaws behind me from my collection. And so I thought we'd do a video on them and sort of go over what makes each one my favorite. And we'll put each one up on the spool and sort of go over the features and the styling. Because for me, on the chainsaws, a lot of it's about the looks and the styling. And you know, it just has to look cool to me, because there's a lot of chainsaws that I think are just ugly. So these are the ones that I think are cool. And some of them are modified. You know, the one is a theme saw, the Ferrari saw. So there's a few like modified ones, but there's a lot of stock ones, restored ones, unrestored. So anyways, this is my top 20. And then in the end, maybe you guys can vote on which one you guys think is your favorite in the comments. So let's get to it. Okay, so here's number 20, guys. And really they're in no particular order, but I'll go from like, you know, sort of the, I mean, I wouldn't say it's my least favorite, but lesser favorite. But really there's no particular order. And I'll try and knock these out like maybe 1-2 minutes a piece so the video's not too long. But look at this beast. The Homelite 770D direct drive chainsaw. And I believe these are 95 cc's. Probably made in the late 50s, early 60s. I made a bitchin' bucking spike for it. But yeah, that's a beast of a saw. And that's my rule on these two. All of these saws run. I'm not going to start any of them today because I have a video for pretty much every one of these saws that I'm going to show you today on the channel already. So if you want to see them running, just go find the video. So there's number 20. Bitchin' looking old saw. And here we go with number 19. The Echo 650 EVL chainsaw. Beautiful old saw. Did some custom hand painted decals for it. But yeah, I like the looks of this saw. It's just sleek but mean looking. Some nice Japanese muscle there. And number 18 on our list, we have this Steel 032. And I think this is a really good looking chainsaw. Swoopy, sexy. I put the double dogs on it. But yeah, it's just a really good looking chainsaw. And they run good too. But yeah, I like how the cylinder's at a 45 degree like that. And like see how the back sort of swoops down. It's almost like a sports car, like a Porsche or something. But yeah, I think that's a good looking saw. Definitely one of my favorites. And this one I totally restored because it was a junker I bought off of eBay that was supposed to run, and it spit the rod bearings through the piston and wiped out the motor, so I had to do a total rebuild on it. But there's another one of my favorites, guys. The Steel 032. Here we go with number 17, the Homelite Super XL12. And I like this one just because it's mean and raw looking. I put a big 24-inch bar on it. It's probably a little excessive, but it looks cool. And it's got the cool muffler guard. And yeah, I just left her sort of raw and battle worn. I even made a little kickstand for it, see, because the bar and chain's so big it won't stand up, so now it can stand up proud. But yeah, the XL12 is a classic utilitarian chainsaw. I always said that it's sort of like the Chevy pickup of the chainsaws. Very utilitarian, but it's cool looking. They made millions of these things. Another one of my favorites. Okay, here's number 16, guys. The Steel 031 with 2 carburetors stacked on top of each other and a custom pipe. And this whole saw was sort of controversial because, you know, people are like, why'd you put the pipe on that side? Now it blows into your leg. And then they're like, oh, the two carbs stacked on each other, that ain't gonna work. That doesn't give you any more power. And all of these things are true, but I thought, what the hell, I'm gonna try it anyways. I did it just because I could do it. That's how you learn, right? But isn't that bitchin' looking? So yeah, I'm leaving it just the way it is. The Funky 031. Another one of my favorites. Coming in number 15 is the JK Saw Shop Special. And this is just one of my favorite saws because it runs so good. And it's just such a good all-around saw that Josh built for me at JK Saw Shop. Man, it's just a neat little saw. A lot more modern than my other saws, but it's cool looking. But yeah, it sure does run good. It always starts, always does what it's supposed to, and it's got a lot of power for a little saw. The old Husqvarna 51, it's ported, and I made a custom exhaust for it. But yeah, Josh did a really good job on that. And I put the lettering on it, and I like how it's sort of wearing off. It looks cool. Definitely one of my favorites. Here's number 14 on the list, guys. The ported Poulan 3400 that Jeff at Mac 131 ported for me, and he went through the whole thing, and man, does that thing run good. I got a video on here somewhere. And I just love the looks of these Poulan 3400s. You know, the green's very distinctive, but they're just a good looking chainsaw. And even the stock version of these really run good. They're sort of an underrated chainsaw. But yeah, I like how it's got the cool angled handle, and it's got this cool, looks like a chin strap jaw looking thing. It's the chain catcher. Just sort of cool. I like how the anti-vibe mounts are on the back. But man, that thing runs good. Definitely another favorite. Coming in at number 13 is the classic Steel S10 that I dolled up. Found this guy at a thrift store. It was sort of in pieces, was missing the somebody took the flywheel off, and the flywheel key was sheared. But I got it all back together and found the missing parts thanks to eBay. But I love the look of these things. It's just classic. Yeah, just classic design. I added a bigger bucking spike. It's actually made for an 090 that I modified to fit. Put my acorn nuts on there. Found a cool bar and chain off of eBay. These guys in Germany. And I like these too. They have that cool cast aluminum muffler on them. But yeah, look at that thing. Just a piece of art. Beautiful old chainsaw. Coming in number 12 is the Johnson 70E. Look at that piece of machinery. Found that at a thrift shop. It was all nasty and dirty. The flywheel fan was blown up in it. But we cleaned her up real nice. Put a bucking spike on it. Made the custom double spark arrestor muffler. Painted up the bar. Yeah, just cleaned it up basically and added some details. Great looking old saw. It was a rental saw, I guess. See, still got the sticker on it. But they didn't abuse it too bad. It was just nasty, dirty. The thing was packed full of sawdust and nastiness. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. She's a keeper. Number 11's the 181 gear drive McCulloch. And man, isn't that just a mean looking machine? My dad found that in Yakima. It was on Craigslist. I think I only paid like $50 for it. It was dirty, nasty. I found this chrome screen for the side there. I actually got that from Rich at West Coast Muscle Saws years ago. He's a cool guy. And I polished up some of the aluminum parts. Just cleaned it up basically. But yeah, that's definitely a cool old saw. Big old beast. Got a video of that on here somewhere too. But yeah, look at these stainless polished mufflers that they put on some of these McCullochs. And these ones have the cart motor in them that has the removable cylinder head, so they're 87 cc's. And the piston's a little scored in this one, but it still runs. But one of these days I'm gonna have to tear it down and redo it. But just a bitchin' looking old saw. How could you not like that? Number 10 on the list is the Husqvarna L65. The classic workhorse from the 70s. Look at that beast. And yeah, I dolled that one up, repainted some of the parts, cleaned it up, put some stickers on it, did the double dogs. It looks bitchin'. And then this one, the side cover was broke on it, so I actually hand formed a piece for the side there to cover it all up and then put the cool sticker. It actually turned out pretty cool. And it runs good too. And that's one of my criteria for the top 20 is they have to run, and all of these saws run. And I got videos of all of them on here, so just go and search it up on the channel and you'll find them. That is bitchin'. Number 9 is the Deere Red 621. Another one of my favorites. Did a total restoration on this one. Cleaned it all up, painted everything, put the big bucking spike on it. Even found the original spark plug cover, which usually is missing on these. But yeah, basically the updated version of the 601. A little more squared and modern looking. This is from the 70s. Yeah, that's a cool looking old saw. All of the old Deere Reds were pretty cool looking old saws, as you'll see here coming up. Got the air cleaner back here, which is cool. You can take that off, easily accessible. Yeah, beautiful old saw. Like I said, it's all about the look for me. And these ones are definitely a cool looking old saw. Coming in number 8, the Canadian 270 PM Canadian Power Machinery Company. Got this one as a basket case. I actually made this out of 2 saws. Cleaned it all up, repainted a bunch of stuff, polished some stuff. Yeah, that's a beautiful old saw. Look at that funky muffler on that. Looks like an alien. Got the acorn nuts on it, of course. Big, heavy beast. Man, it's heavy. And I think that one's like late 60s probably. 68, 69, something like that. Yeah, like I said, another classic. Look at the lines on that thing. Beautiful. Here's number 7, lucky 7. The Pioneer RA 100cc chainsaw. This is one of my first ones. This is sort of one of the ones that got me into it also. Just because it's so classic looking. It's like an old hot rod. Look at that thing. It's got a glass sediment bowl for the carburetor. Cool little kickstand you put your foot on. Cool cast aluminum, dual port muffler. Just so much coolness. And the coolest feature is the top comes off. It's got a hood like a car. Look at that. It's got a cool air filter in there. Cool logo on the top. The IEL Pioneer logo is really cool. And this Pioneer one that I added, because they're supposed to be Pioneer lettering, but they're really hard to find. But this Pioneer logo is actually off of a Pioneer. There was a Plymouth Pioneer like station wagon from the 60s. And I found that emblem off of eBay, but it fits. It looks cool on there. Sort of custom. But yeah, if that thing doesn't scream hot rod, look at that. So cool. Love that saw. Number 6 on the list is this restored Deere Red 601 that I totally went through. And there's actually 2 of these on the list. This is the restored one, although the muffler's pretty beat. I need to find a nice NOS muffler that's really nice. But the rest of it's nice. But yeah, so this is the restored one, because I like to restore the ones that are just too far gone to leave old. And that's how this one was. The side covers are very hard to find that aren't broke. And actually this one I had to do a bunch of JB welding and stuff. I got a video, I JB welded some cut out chunks of license plates and stuff to fix that it was all broke right here. But I did find an NOS one, and I'm going to show you that on the next saw. But yeah, isn't that a neat looking? Looks like an old, like a 56 Corvette or something. Somebody else mentioned that it looks like something that George Jetson would have. But yeah, aren't they just cool? And so number 5 on the list is another Deere Red 601, but this one is made out of all just really nice either NOS or just really nice original parts. So nothing's been painted on this saw. I gathered everything that's just really nice. And then the bar I did have, I took it to this laser cutting place and had them cut the holes in the bar because it just looks cool. But yeah, that saw runs really nice too. All original parts, some NOS stuff. The side cover is actually an NOS side cover that was never used. And I paid a lot of money for it too. I think I paid like 75 or 100 bucks just for that side cover. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites because it still looks old and original, but it just looks cool. Okay, here it is, guys. Number 4, the Ferrari saw. I've been looking at those McCulloch 601s, and I always thought the styling of them was so 90s and like totally looked like, you know, Ferrari stuff. Like, see the fins in the side of this, and it's just boxy and has the fins over here. Totally looks like a Ferrari Testarossa. So I thought, I'm gonna paint one of those things up like a Ferrari. And sure enough, there it is. Painted it up, found some decals, made some cool pipes. And boy, people just, this thing is like, it angers people. It's controversial. They either love it or they hate it. And people are just like, that's just a McCulloch 6010. It's like, yeah, I know that. It's like you either get it or you don't. But it's just funny. It really like triggers people, this thing does. They just trip about it. But I like it. And it's one of my favorites. That's why it's number 4 on the list. Coming in at number 3 is the Man Mercury chainsaw. I mean, look at that beast. Big old 4-foot bar on it. Just played around with that one recently, made some videos. 2 cylinders. I mean, look at that thing. Look at them pipes sticking out. She's still dirty from when I used her. And somebody put these weird spikes on the bottom. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. Maybe to keep it from sliding around on the wood or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, just a bitchin' looking old saw. Has the cool Kiekhafer logo, Mercury, air cooled, fully jeweled engine. And I was wondering what that meant. Mr. Obsolete told me what it means. It basically means that like everything has like roller bearings or you know, just really high quality bearings and fully jeweled, which means, and it is a good high quality motor. But yeah, just a cool old saw. Has the cool Bakelite caps on it. That one's Bakelite with some aluminum. But yeah, just bitchin' looking. Got that from Christina's grandpa. And I think the story was when they shut down the mill in Burns, Oregon, everybody was moving away and this thing was going to go to the scrap pile. And so Christina's dad actually grabbed it and they stuck it in her grandpa's shed, and it probably was in there for 40 years. But yeah, it runs. I got a video. Okay, here's another John Sered's number 2 on the list. The 751, which is the big brother to the 601. It's like 75 cc's, something like that. And man, it took me a while to find the parts to build this thing, because the 751s are quite a bit harder to find than the 601s. The top cover's different, the muffler's bigger, everything's just a little bit bigger. But yeah, isn't that just a bitchin' looking saw? Just totally looks like a hot rod. So yeah, that's one of my favorites, almost my favorite saw. I go back and forth. And so yeah, let's see what number 1 is. Okay, here it is, number 1, guys. The Titan 30 chainsaw. This was actually the first chainsaw that I bought in an estate sale that got me into this. And look at that thing, it's just so cool. All the cool plated and polished aluminum stuff on it. Look, even the gas and the oil cap are aluminum polished. And I totally restored this whole saw. But yeah, made by the Mill and Mine Company in Seattle. It's probably like a 19, what is it? I can't remember now, 53, 54, something like that. But yeah, look at the exhaust pipe is always what impressed me. Look at that, it's like, that's the factory finish on it. It's almost like gun bluing. Isn't that just cool? And the copper oil lines, and just, it's like almost like an old Harley or something, like an old motorcycle. And it sounds like one too. But yeah, I just love that old thing. So yeah, that's number 1, guys. Even found some decals. This Sugar Creek Supply makes decals for these old chainsaws. Painted it with automotive acrylic enamel. I went full hog on this one. Or whole hog, I guess. Alright, cool. Number 1. So yeah, go check out all these videos, guys. I've got a video of every one of these chainsaws on here somewhere, running and all that fun stuff. So there they are. Okay, so there they are, guys. The top 20. My top 20 favorites. And of course, you know, I got a lot of other chainsaws that I like too, so. But you can only pick 20. I mean, that would have been too long of a video, because I still like a bunch of the other ones. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Catch you later.